Hi, Kwe, Neknamalina, and this is my channel, The Midnight Librarian. Today I will be talking about my December TBR. So my apologies for the lighting. It is evening now. The sun is gone. It's been gone for hours. I've been trying to film all day and there's things that keep interrupting. My apologies if you can hear like water trickling. My fish tank here in the office needs to be topped off. We're here to talk about my last TBR for 2023. Crazy. So crazy. Okay. So my hope is to do Pokemon cards choose my TBR. If you don't know what that is, I'll have my playlist linked above as well as down in the description down below. But basically I have these Pokemon booster packs and I randomly pick one. I have a variety of them that I pull from this box. The box is new, but each Pokemon type has its own prompt and I choose my books based off those prompts. So I'm going to mix this up a little bit and randomly choose one. So we have Astral Radiance. There are a couple of books that I would like to get to in the month of December. I don't plan on doing any readathons, but there are a couple of challenges that I would like to try to complete. Okay, get rid of this top card. And here we go. Okay, we have Ursaring, which is a normal type Pokemon, or this evolved form of Teddiursa. And for Ursaring, I am going to go ahead and choose Monkey Beach by Eden Robinson. This is one of the books I need to get done for the 23 of 2023 that I will also link in the cards as well as down below. I've been meaning to read Eden Robinson. I haven't yet, even though I have Son of a Trickster, but I pulled Monkey Beach randomly for the 23 of 2023. So I do have it out from the library, but it doesn't have a cover, so I'll go ahead and put the cover here. But basically we are in Vancouver. My apologies if I'm pronouncing any of these words wrong. An Indian reservation in the homeland of the Haisla people. And we are following Lisa Marie, who grew up a tough, wild tomboy, swimming, fighting, and fishing in a remote village where the land slips into the green ocean on the edge of the world. She's different. She sees ghosts and shapeshifters, is tormented by premonitions, and she can't escape the sense that something terrible is waiting for her. She recounts her enchanted yet scarred life as she journeys in her speedboat up the frigid waters of the Douglas Channel. She is searching for her brother, dead by drowning, and in her own way running as fast as she can towards danger. And that's all I really know. That's all I really want to know. This is listed as Canadian magical realism contemporary, so I'm choosing that for Ursaring. Next we have Drifblim, which is the evolved form of Drifloon, and Drifblim is a psychic, and for psychics it's to read a thriller. Okay, so for Drifblim, I actually got an audiobook from the county library, and that is For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. This one is following, I'm not exactly sure what this one is about. I know it was one of the Literally Dead book club picks, but I didn't read it at the time. I just know that we're following Teddy Crutcher, who has won Teacher of the Year at his themed Belmont Academy, home to the best and brightest. He says his wife couldn't be more proud, but no one's seen her in a while, and he doesn't have time for the death of a parent. That seems to look more and more like murder, let alone a student digging a little too deep into Teddy's personal life. His main focus is pushing these kids to their academic potential. All he wants is for his colleagues and the endlessly meddlesome parents to stay out of his way. That's all I know. That's all I really want to know going into this. It is listed as a thriller mystery, adult contemporary novel. So I read Samantha Downing first thing in 2023, so I figured it might be like a nice roundabout way to kind of end with her as well. So that's what I'm picking for Drifblim. Next I have Dark Tricks, which is the evolved form of Rowlet. Dartrix is a Dartrix is a grass type Pokemon, which is basically to read a book with flora on the cover, and for that I am going to go ahead and pick the second book of the Hex Support Mystery Series, Harvest Moon by Annabelle Chase and Tana Gray. This, like I said, is the second book in this series. I read Pink Moon in November, so you'll hear more of my thoughts about that in my November wrap-up. But so I don't spoil you for the second book, I'm going to go ahead and give you the synopsis for the first book, and that is that we are following Kit, who is the oldest of three in a prestigious witch family, and she's basically been taking care of her kids who are now in college and her sisters who are younger than her, as well as their estate. But when an old boss comes and asks her for a favor to look into a prestigious witch's murder or death, Kit goes ahead and takes on this favor to try to see if this will help with her kind of listlessness that she's been feeling at home. I thought it was really kind of fun and witty. And ultimately was like kind of wanting the second one right away. I'm not able to do that because it is for some reason a little spendy on Libro FM. I'm not entirely sure why for a 5.5 hour audiobook, but it's a witchy mystery series, and so far I'm really enjoying it, and I have been enjoying witchy mystery series this year, so let's end this year on a cozy note. So that is my pick for Dartrix. So this is an energy card, and so for energy cards it's to read a book with the similar colors on the cover. I think I've had this issue before, and I don't have a whole lot of purple books. Okay, so for the purple energy card, I think I'm going to go ahead and try to go with A Dark and Hollow Story by Ashley Shuttleworth. There's some purple in those wings, I think. Don't mind this. I got it that way. I don't know how. But we are, so I think this is like contemporary, like magic realism. There are 8 quarts of folk that have lived among people, concealed by magic, bound by law to do no harm to humans. This arrangement has been long kept the peace in the courts until a series of gruesome ritualistic murders rocks the city of Toronto and threatens to expose fairies to the human world. 4 queer teens, each holding a key piece of the truth behind these murders, must form a tenuous alliance in their effort to track down the mysterious killer behind these crimes. If they fail, they risk the destruction of the fairy and the human worlds alike. So that's all I know. That's all I really want to know. It's a bit of a chunker, so I'm a little nervous about that, and I don't remember hearing much of anything about it, but it sounds interesting, so yeah. Let's see, this one we have a Hisuian Braviary, which is an evolved form of Rufflet, and this is a normal type Pokemon, so it's to read another contemporary. I think for that I am going to pick a nonfiction. I've read a couple of, or at least one nonfiction for Nonfiction November that had to do with food. As I said in my November TBR, this is the time of year that I really do like getting into foodie nonfictions. However, the one I happen to be reading currently, it definitely takes a close look at the food industry, which can kind of like put me off. Like, it's interesting to read about, and it kind of really just definitely like opens my eyes to several things, but it also puts me in a mood, if you get my meaning. A bunch of anger, a bunch of frustration of government and people lining their pockets making decisions. So I want to read No Recipe: Cooking as a Spiritual Practice by Edward S. Brown. This is a nonfiction collection of essays. Let's see, listening to Brown's witty and engaging collection of essays is like learning to cook and meditate with your own personal chef and Zen teacher. Drawing from a lifetime of experience, he invites us into his home and kitchen to explore how cooking and eating can be paths to awakening. Baking, cutting, chopping, and tasting are not seen as rigid techniques, but as opportunities to find joy and satisfaction in the present moment. Forget the rules and forget what you have been told, teaches Brown. Discover yourself by tasting, testing, experimenting, and experiencing. Enjoy food. I enjoy listening to food, and particularly as I'm kind of winding down my Indigenous Ethnobotany class of this semester, and trying to really think of how I really want to go about my gardening and as well as like learning more about plants. I really just want to figure out where I'm going with it, and I think this sounds like a really good book for that, particularly as my fiance is always like telling me to and encouraging me to kind of just believe in what I'm doing when it comes to cooking, and to stop so rigorously paying attention to the recipe and trying to follow the recipe and just go with like what I believe is right. So I think that's really cool too, in a sense too. He's really good at that, and he makes delicious food, so maybe this will help me. So yeah, that's for our breviary. Next we have Glameow. This is a reverse holo. So reverse holo is to read a backlist, and Glameow is a normal, so it's to read a contemporary. I'll go ahead and choose another nonfiction, and kind of looks like Glameow is stalking this prey, but I'm choosing The Hummingbird's Gift, Wonder, Beauty, and Renewal of On Wings by Cy Montgomery. I've read a couple of Cy Montgomerys before, How to Be a Good Creature and The Soul of an Octopus. And The Soul of an Octopus made me cry at work. And I think I read that this year, I believe. Cy Montgomery is a naturalist as well as a journalist, and in this particular one she follows Brenda Sherburne-Bell as she basically has been taking in abandoned hummingbirds as chicks and nurturing them until they're able to fly in the wild. And so Cy Montgomery kind of takes a look at what she does, as well as the wonders that make hummingbirds. So I think it'll be really fun. So we have Glameow again, but this time it is not a reverse holo, so that's interesting. And I'm gonna go ahead and keep going with the nonfictions, and that is The Wise Hours, A Journey into the Wild and Secret World of Owls by Miriam Darlington. First off, I love the look of this book. I got this earlier this year, I believe, because it was published in 2023. But Miriam Darlington I have not read anything from before, but basically she is very curious about the worlds of owls, first becoming interested due to her son. I believe they're UK based, and she ends up getting to go explore and meet these different types of owls, barn owls, long-eared owl, tawny owl, etc. But after a little bit, her son is diagnosed with a rare, I think it's a disease or sickness, and so her travels to know more about owls and their stealth in the world has become a search for a cure. So I think this one will be definitely interesting, and I think also it fulfills my last challenge that I need to do for the magical adventure challenge for the year. It's to read either a book with a cat or an owl on the cover, and I happen to have an owl on the cover for the Owl Cub, I think. So that's my my pick for my second Glameow. I have a Hisuian Voltorb, which this one in particular is a grass type, so to read a book with floral elements on the cover. I'll go ahead and choose another cozy mystery series that's a bit witchy, and that is In the Company of Witches, the first book in the An Even Fall Witches B&B mystery by Orally Wallace. See, for 400 years, the Warren witches have used their magic to quietly help the citizens in the sleepy New England town of Even Fall. There hasn't been a problem they couldn't handle, but then Constance Graves, a known local for being argumentative and demanding, dies while staying at the bed and breakfast Brandon Warren maintains with her aunts. At first it seems like an accident, but it soon becomes clear that there's something sinister at work, and Aunt Nora is shaping up to be the prime suspect. So I've heard good things. I know that particularly Jan from Jan Agaton fairly recently, within the last couple months, and enjoyed it. So I'm fairly curious about it. The cover is full of botanicals. It also has a cat on the cover, so that also helps with my challenge, my last challenge for the magical adventure. But yeah, I think I'm feeling I really want to go out of 2023 with the cozy witchy mysteries. So that will be my pick for the Hisuian Voltorb. Next I have the Hisuian Basculin, which is a water type Pokemon, and for water type it's to read a book that is set in or around water. And for this I'm gonna go ahead and pick up Weird is Beautiful, the Wisdom of Octopuses. And this doesn't have an author on the cover, but within the notes it says that Liz Marvin asserts the moral right to be identified as the author of this book. And basically this is a collection of like little wisdoms and facts about the octopus and how weird it is, but how unique it is and how smart it is, and just to be you in that matter. So I think it's kind of self-helpy, but I think it'll be really cute too. I remember seeing this in Oregon back when we went in February, and I didn't buy it at the time, but I took a picture and like made sure to buy it at some point within the year. So yeah, I think this is a bit of a stretch, but I mean, octopuses do live in the ocean, so I think that is close enough. I have Scyther, which is another grass Pokemon, so to read another book with Flora on the cover. So for Scyther, I'm going to go ahead and pick The Waking Forest by Alyssa Weiss. Here's what it looks like. I do have a physical copy. I'm just too lazy to go grab it right now. Young adult fantasy book featuring witches. Basically there is a forest that has secrets, and our main character Rhea wants to know its secrets, but feels that this forest is a mirage of dark and dense trees that goes like that's living in her backyard, but anytime she tries to go touch it, it disappears. So she wants to know its secrets, and when a peculiar boy offers her to expose its secrets if she plays a game. So this feels very ominous. This is another 23 of 2023 book that I randomly, this was one of the random draws, so I'm very curious about it, and I think that's what I'll go ahead and pick for Scyther. Okay, last card. And that is Mentine, which is another water Pokemon, and such a lovely art piece to end on. So it's another book that is set in or around water. And for that, I hope to be able to, so I'm on the wait list for this audiobook. I'm like second in line, so hopefully it'll only take a couple of weeks, if that. But it's House of Salt and Sorrow, which I believe is a retelling of something, but I'm not entirely sure. This is by Erin A. Craig, and we are in a manor by the sea, following 12 sisters who are cursed. The particular sister we're following is Analea, who lives in a sheltered life at Highmore Manor with her sisters and her father and her stepmother. Once there were 12, but loneliness fills the grand halls now that 4 of the girls' lives were cut short. Each death was more tragic than the last. The plague, a plummeting fall, a drowning, a slippery plunge. And there are whispers throughout the surrounding villages that the family is cursed by the gods. Disturbed by a series of ghostly visions, Analia becomes increasingly suspicious that her sister's deaths were no accident. The girls have been sneaking out at night to attend glittering balls, dancing until dawn in silk gowns and shimmering slippers. But Analia isn't sure whether to try to stop them or join in their forbidden trysts, because who or what are they really dancing for? When Analia's involvement in a mysterious stranger who has secrets of his own intensifies, it's a race to unravel the darkness that has fallen over her family before it claims her next. So hopefully I'm able to get that soon, but otherwise, yeah, I think that is what I will be reading for the month of December. Here's the 4 physical books that I have, and a bunch of audiobooks, which is perfectly fine. I'm pretty heavily relying on them at this point, so yeah, I'm pretty excited with how this turned out. Again, apologies for the glare and the lighting, as well as the noise. If you have read any of these books, please let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments down below. Please, no spoilers. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for your support. Let's go ahead and put any kind of fish emoji, I think would be nice. Your favorite one. I particularly like the octopus or squid. I don't think does my phone do either one, or does it only do one? Okay, it has both. It has the octopus and the squid, so I like the octopus. Yeah, otherwise I hope that you are doing well, and I hope that you are in the mental mindset to enjoy your reading. I will see you in another video very soon. Chew.